Hi, I'm Woody Huffines, and I own the NerdsToGo in McKinney and Frisco, Texas, and this is Tech for the Untechnical. And today we're going to talk about cloud storage. What is it, and should I use it? Where is this cloud thing? When people talk about stuff being in the cloud, basically it means off-site storage. It's a data center or some place that your information or the things that you're working on, whether it's an application or your files, are stored someplace other than your physical location, in servers or server farms across the country and literally across the world. The most popular ones are OneDrive, which is a Microsoft product, Google Drive, which is a Google product. You've got DropBox and you've got iCloud. And basically these are ways for you to store information in the cloud or in an online server, someplace that's not on your computer. But why would you do that? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Well, the good news is if you store stuff on your OneDrive, iCloud, Google Drive, Dropbox, and I'm just going to say cloud storage from now on, you can get to it regardless of where you are. You don't have to be sitting in front of your computer at home. You can be sitting in front of your laptop at the Starbucks, or you can be on an airplane, cooked up to Wi-Fi on the airplane and download it on your phone, or you can, well, any device, anywhere, you've got access to that data. So that anywhere access is a really positive thing about storing things in these cloud storage, cloud file storage capabilities. And as I mentioned, the second thing is access across devices. It doesn't matter whether you're on your phone, your laptop, or your desktop, you have access to the files that you want access to. That's pretty handy. There's also the possibility of file sharing very easily. For example, in our family, we've got a Google Drive, and it's called the Huffines Drive. And anytime we have a birthday party or a family get-together, everybody takes all the pictures that they took, whether it's their phone or their camera or whatever, and they drop it in that Huffines Drive shared folder so that everybody in the family can get any of the pictures that any of us took for any one of the family events. And it's been out there for the last 10 years. So that if you want to go back and do a look back, if it's Throwback Thursday and you want to see what it looked like at my birthday party, I won't say which one, nor will I say, well, I can say how many years ago, but you can go back and get the pictures from a birthday party if you want to remember an event. It's pretty handy because it allows the whole family to do it, and it also allows for collaboration. My brother and I have been working on some things together on this video editing and YouTube stuff, so we're able to put files up in one of these cloud sharing places, and both of us can edit it. He can go in and put notes, I can go in and put notes, and we are working effectively on the same document, which allows for collaboration. So you got anywhere access, you got access on any device, you've got a way to share information easily, and you've got a way to collaborate easily. Those are all good things. Where is it not so good? Well, the first place it can be not so good is if it's cloud storage, it means that you're dependent on the internet. There's two things with that. The first is speed. When we are sharing videos or sharing large files, and those are generally videos or very large image files, sometimes you can be stuck in a place where the internet connection is pretty slow. So if you bring something down to look at it, and the time that it takes to download it to your machine can really be a problem. And if you're not real patient the way I'm not real patient, sometimes you just give up and move on. But if you've got a lot of files or you've got large files, the time that it takes to download them is much slower than if you have local storage. The second piece of that internet thing is you have to have internet. If you've got mission critical applications, especially if you're a small business or a consultant or you're running your own business, and there's information or data that you need, while it's really handy to have it up in the cloud so that you can collaborate on it, and it's really handy to have it up in the cloud so that you can access it anywhere across any device, if it's a mission critical piece of information that you need to do your business today and you don't have internet access, you got a problem. So that internet thing kind of gives and takes. Yes, it allows you to access it from a bunch of places as long as you have internet. The other two things that for me are kind of a challenge for the cloud storage is, first of all, sometimes even for me, it's confusing. Where did I put that? A lot of times if it's a large file and I know I'm going to be working on it locally, I don't want to spend the time to upload it across the internet and then download it back to work on it and then upload it back to put it back. And that latency in the internet time that it takes me to put it in the cloud storage and get it out of the cloud storage is such a pain that some things I just want to keep locally on the machine that I'm going to do, for example, video editing on. But then I get confused because I'll be at the office and I'll think, I want to look at that. Oh no, that's on my, and so where you put things, if you don't put everything on the cloud storage or put everything locally, sometimes it can be a little confusing to keep track of which version or which one you're working on or where that data is. That's a problem. It can be a little confusing. The same thing is true of version control. If you have it set in multiple places, it's hard to remember sometimes which is the latest version or the one that you're working on. So you can, if you're not careful, end up with data that's the same file, that's the same file name on your laptop, on your desktop at the office, and in the cloud. So when you get to it on your phone, which one are you really getting and which one do you really need? So it takes a little bit of discipline to understand what's going on in the cloud and what data you can get to if you use the multiple devices. Last and most importantly, and I have this discussion with a lot of our clients, cloud storage, Google Drive, DropBox, any of them, they are not backups. Say it with me. They are not backups. If you're using that data as a working file and you grab it here and you change it and you put it back, if you've only got one version of a file, it doesn't matter whether it's on your computer or whether it's in the cloud. If you've only got one version of a file, you don't have a backup. Period. If you're going to back things up, you remember 3, 2, 1. 3 copies, 2 different media, 1 offsite. So don't think of the Dropbox or the Google Drive or any of those things as backup. They may be another copy of the file, but they're not a backup of the file because a backup needs to be 3 things. First of all, it needs to be comprehensive. Second, it needs to be incremental. And third, to be a backup, you have to be able to restore from it. If you haven't restored from a backup, you don't know that you have a backup. And again, if you're going back and forth to that information that's on the cloud and that's the file that you're using, it's not backed up. You've only got one. Here's the example that I use for people. They say, well, I don't worry about a backup because all my stuff's in the cloud. Here's the question I ask folks. Okay, great. What happens if you delete the wrong file? You had 1 copy of it, it was on your iCloud, you deleted it, now you have 0 copies. That wasn't a backup. Backup means multiple copies. The second thing is that you have a privacy problem. If you have a loss of your email account, in the case of OneDrive, it's your Microsoft account, and Google, it's your Google account, or iCloud, it's your Apple account. If you lose those credentials and somebody's able to get into your data, then they've got all of your data and they can access it on any device from anywhere in the world. So if you're storing really critical, private, financial information or personally identifiable information on those cloud storage devices, you might have a safety issue in terms of security. The best choice is to set up with, and we'll talk about this in a later video, a way to encrypt the data so that any of the data that you have in a cloud storage environment is encrypted. So even if somebody is able to hack the account and get to your data, they can't read the data because your data is encrypted. That's an important point. Here's the point. Generally, I would say, don't put stuff in a cloud storage situation that's unencrypted that you wouldn't want posted on the bulletin board in your town center. So if you're a business, don't put client data up there that's unencrypted. If it's your personal stuff, don't store your tax returns up there unencrypted. That stuff on the cloud gets opened up inadvertently, and if it gets opened up inadvertently, you don't want your personal data out in the world because you stored it on the cloud. So, cloud storage is pretty handy. You can get to the data that's up there on just about any device, just about any place in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. You need to be aware that don't put personally identifiable data or private data up there unless you encrypt it. And you can use those things to store, but they're not backups. If you find this data helpful, hit the subscribe button below or ring the notification bell, and when we put one of these out, you'll be able to hear about it. I'm Woody Huffines, the owner of NerdsToGo in McKinney and Frisco, Texas, and this is Tech for the Untechnical. Hope you join us again.